At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to Isaiah Maxwell, a young, struggling painter living in Washington, D.C., as he attends his mentor Yusuf Davies' art show. Isaiah admires Yusuf's talent and looks up to him. In turn, Yusuf understands Isaiah's potential to become a unique, prominent painter and introduces him to Chenai Hongwei, an influential woman who is hard to impress and represents only selected talented artists. Chenai trusts Yusuf's judgment and asks Isaiah to send her some of his work, which delights the struggling artist. Then, right as Isaiah goes around the gallery appreciating Yusuf's work, he meets Stevie Richmond, a beautiful law student who seems to have an eye for art. They strike up a conversation and connect over their shared understanding of art. However, Isaiah and Stevie go their separate ways at the end of the show. A few weeks later, Isaiah goes to his best friend Nick Wright's club to hang out and meets Nick's exotic girlfriend, Mecca. As the group hangs out, Mecca's best friend, Stevie, who happens to be the same Stevie from the other night, joins them to the surprise of Isaiah. Isaiah takes this coincidental reunion as a sign and decides he won't let Stevie slip away again, so he approaches Stevie and makes conversation. The two hang out at the club all night, and in the morning, Isaiah walks Stevie to her apartment. During their walk, Isaiah and Stevie get to know each other better. Isaiah details his passion for art, claiming he can see art in everyone and everything. Stevie shares that she was named after her mother's favorite singer, Stevie Wonder. They reach Stevie's apartment, and just before they go their separate way, Isaiah asks her out, and Stevie accepts and gives him her number. The next morning, Stevie appears in court to present a case on affordable housing on behalf of minorities in Washington, D.C. During the court session, she passionately and eloquently fights for disadvantaged minorities, hoping to bring real change. On the other side of town, Isaiah visits his parents and sister at his parents' house. There, his father insists that Isaiah should get a real paying job and arranges for an interview through their pastor. Isaiah politely declines to participate in the interview, insisting that he wants to follow his dreams. Later, Isaiah visits Yusuf to get some pointers and inspiration for his paintings, as he is suffering from a mental block. Yusuf advises Isaiah to make sure to find a muse and to be inspired before putting ink to paper. Yusuf also adds that separating living spaces from work studios helps keep artists' minds clear and fresh. Isaiah couldn't even afford to think about such luxury, but respectfully accepted the advice. Later that day, Isaiah calls Stevie and asks her out on a date. Stevie accepts, and the two go on their first date. The date goes rather smoothly, and Isaiah and Stevie spend a lot of time together, which helps them make a deeper connection. After the date, Isaiah takes Stevie home to show her his old paintings. Stevie takes time to appreciate all his pieces and admires his talent. By the end of the night, Isaiah and Stevie kiss and decide to officially start dating. That same night, after Stevie leaves, Isaiah feels inspired, and even though it is very late, starts painting for the first time in months. Isaiah finishes the complex painting and sends it as a gift to Stevie, who was the muse that reconciled him with his passion. Stevie falls in love with the painting and asks Isaiah to come and help her hang it in her apartment, basically setting their second date. Isaiah gets to Stevie's apartment and is impressed by the quality. Then after they spend some quality time together, Isaiah hangs up the painting in Stevie's bedroom. They spend the rest of the night discussing their dreams and plans. After sharing dinner and some wine, Isaiah and Stevie get intimate and spend the night together. Isaiah and Stevie become inseparable. They take time to do everything together, which strengthens their bond. Then Stevie asks Isaiah to move in with her, and he happily accepts. Isaiah then turns his apartment into his art studio. Having a separate space helps him clear his mind and focus. So based on this newfound inspiration, Isaiah does a few more paintings and sends them to Chenai, who is impressed by his talent. Chenai then arranges for Isaiah to share a gallery with a few other artists and present his paintings, which excites Isaiah to no end. Isaiah shares the good news with Stevie, who is extremely happy for him. Isaiah prepares for the show and manages to get everything ready. On the night of the show, Stevie helps Isaiah set everything up, and Nick and Mecca, who are very happy for Isaiah, come to show their support. The show becomes a success, and Chenai introduces him to many influential artists. After the show ends, Isaiah and Stevie go on a double date with Nick and Mecca. The group chit-chats, give each other updates, and just spends a pleasant evening together. A few days later, Stevie tells Isaiah that she wants to take him to meet her parents, Anne and Jerome Richmond, at their house, but warns him not to tell them that they're living together, as the Richmonds are a conservative family. Isaiah and Stevie reach the Richmonds' residence and are welcomed by Jerome and Anne, who immediately start getting to know Isaiah. During dinner, Anne gives Isaiah a hard time about not having a real paying job, and even advises him that it is still not too late to change his profession. Anne does the same with Stevie, and tells her to drop her ambitions of helping people join a respectable firm and advance her career. Tension rises rises at the dinner table, and Jerome tries to lighten up the mood. Knowing how hurt her parents will be, the annoyed Stevie reveals that she and Isaiah are living together. The Richmonds are flabbergasted and judge their daughter's relationship negatively. Upon their return home, Stevie apologizes for her parents and tells him how much she cares for him. To ease the stress of their visit, Isaiah and Stevie meet with Nick and Mecca to decompress. Noticing the tension, the adventurous Mecca takes the group to a local Ethiopian restaurant where they drink coffee made from beans from the land of origin and eat the cultural food, appreciating its authenticity. In the following days, the tension slowly melts away, and Isaiah and Stevie go back to their routines and adapt well to living together, which helps their relationship grow strong. After a few months and after he has done a few art shows, Isaiah feels ready to do a solo show and approaches Chennai with the idea. Chennai doesn't believe Isaiah is ready, which demoralizes him a little and pressures him to prove her wrong. A few days later, Isaiah runs into one of his classmates from art school. They catch up for a bit, and after learning that the friend has done multiple solo shows, Isaiah starts to doubt himself and his talent. Isaiah talks to Yusuf about what's going on, and Yusuf inspires him to be focused and original and to work hard so that he can make art that can force people to take notice. Isaiah then starts spending a lot of time in the studio trying to come up with the perfect piece. After a few weeks, he finishes the piece and shows it to Chennai, who is impressed on the spot. Chennai works her magic and arranges for a solo show for Isaiah, but warns him to make sure to be ready with all the required numbers and qualities before the show. Isaiah then decides to give all he has to get everything ready, and so he starts spending more time at the studio. This starts taking a toll on Isaiah and Stevie's relationship. Stevie tries to be understanding and tolerates Isaiah's absence as she wants him to succeed as much as he does. However, one day, Isaiah forgets that he made plans with Stevie and goes radio silent for hours, standing up to her parents, who have gone out of their way to invite them to a show so that they can spend some time together. Isaiah is mortified to learn of the incident and tries to apologize, but Stevie isn't impressed. In the following weeks, Isaiah and Stevie barely see each other at home and start drifting apart. One day, Stevie's professor calls her to inform her that she's gotten a lot of offers from many different impressive firms, including a prestigious firm in Chicago she's always dreamed of joining. Stevie is very indecisive about taking the Chicago offer, mainly for fear of losing her relationship. So Stevie talks to Anne and asks her for advice on how to proceed. Anne adamantly advises her to follow her dreams and not to let them go for someone that is not willing to make the same sacrifices. Stevie takes this, and after much contemplation, tells Isaiah about the offer and asks him for his opinion. Isaiah nonchalantly answers her, saying that if it was him, he would take it, and that everyone should prioritize their dream. Stevie observes how easy it was for Isaiah to answer and is deeply hurt. She starts to question her relationship and to retreat both emotionally and physically from Isaiah. A huge void forms between Isaiah and Stevie, which they seemingly don't know how to repair. Isaiah still spends a lot of time at the studio believing that he must do everything in his power to break through as an up-and-coming artist, and Stevie tries to keep up with the busy schedules of law school while contemplating her relationship. After some time, Isaiah's paintings are all finished, and the day of his solo show is set. At the show, which he names Chocolate City, many people show up including Nick, Mecca, and Stevie. Despite their domestic problems, Stevie is happy for Isaiah and publicly appears beside him. Chennai introduces Isaiah to many more people in the business, and Isaiah's show concludes successfully. The next morning, Chennai calls Isaiah into her office and gives him his first check and warns him not to let his hunger for inspiration die because of the money. A couple of days later, Stevie tells Isaiah that she has accepted the offer from the firm in Chicago, and they get into a fight. Isaiah is annoyed that she hasn't told him earlier and accuses her of having no passion, while Stevie accuses him of never caring enough to be around. When the fight terminates, Stevie asks Isaiah to move out of the apartment, and their relationship is terminated. 1 year later, Isaiah has done well for himself, and all the major media outlets like the New York Times Nick are lining up to get an interview with him. One day, Nick visits Isaiah, and the two catch up, as they hadn't seen each other for a while due to Isaiah's busy schedule. They then make schedules to see each other and catch up before Nick leaves. As soon as Isaiah is alone, he continues to work on his latest grand painting. After a couple of weeks, Isaiah gets a show in Chicago and flies there. At his show, Isaiah runs into to Stevie, who has come to check out his paintings. Stevie and Isaiah awkwardly greet each other and chit-chat. Later, Isaiah calls Stevie and meets her for a drink. After they catch up for a bit, they leave the bar and head for Stevie's apartment, where they get intimate and spend the night. The next morning, the reunited couple gets in a fight, as Stevie airs out the resentment she held for Isaiah for not asking her to stay back then. Isaiah apologizes and asks her to stay around this time. He adds that he still has feelings for her and pleads with her to give their relationship another chance. Stevie feels overwhelmed and leaves without even giving him a proper response. Once Isaiah returns to Washington, D.C., he calls Stevie and leaves a message asking her if she could come and see his next show in Washington, D.C. Stevie makes it to the show. Isaiah is happy to see her, but is occupied with many interested clients to approach her. Stevie walks around appreciating Isaiah's art and is stunned motionless when she sees a raw portrait of herself. Stevie couldn't take her eyes off the grand painting and just stood there, frozen. Watching it, Isaiah watches Stevie from afar off, hoping she likes the most valuable painting from his collection. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.